Kevin Garnett, making his return back to the Minnesota Timberwolves, where he, of course, began his career and started his future Hall of Fame career. Let's talk about a little bit more. David Aldridge, one of the best insiders in the business, NBA TV as well as NBA.com reporter. He's doing a game for TNT tonight in Phoenix, and he joins us right now on the phone. Hey, KG, return to Minnesota. Did you see the intro, DA, last night? What did you think of it?
Man, it was great. It was great. I mean, you know, Kevin Garnett's the iconic player in the history of that franchise. He's by far the most important player who's ever played for them. And, you know, I'm a sucker for a homecoming story, Mike, so I love when guys go back. And it was great to see because they haven't had much to cheer about this year. They got some talent, but it's very young. You know, young doesn't win in this league. So to have KG be able to finish his career as a player back where he became a star is terrific, man. I was happy to see it. I'm glad he agreed to make the deal because, you know, he wasn't going anywhere in Brooklyn. He had no history with Brooklyn, so he's got history in Minnesota, so it was great to see.
Yeah, back bringing them some much-needed leadership, maybe some discipline. I know a lot of the younger players. Zach LaVine said he was mortified with him coming in there because of stories that he's done with some of the phones. If they see you walking in, if he walks into the locker room and you're on the phone, he's going to throw it in the toilet or something like that. But KG left in 2007 and still the franchise leader in points, rebound, assists, just about every major statistical category for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We wish him luck the rest of his career. Meanwhile, his former teammate, Rajon Rondo, who really didn't see eye to eye with a lot of teammates in Boston, didn't really see eye to eye with Doc Rivers in Boston, and now he's got some major friction, it appears, with Rick Carlisle. He got suspended because of what happened the other night, and he got benched. What's the latest going on in Dallas right now? How's that going to end?
Well, you know, he's a free agent, so he can decide what he wants to do at the end of the year. But obviously it's not good right now. That doesn't mean it won't be good, you know, in a week or two, but these things do happen. But it was kind of the ferocity, I guess I would say, of that exchange led you to believe that this is not just, you know, your normal everyday blow-up that you see all the time in the league. You know, coaches yell at players, players yell back at coaches, and then it's squashed and it's moved on. But, you know, again, Rondo's got options. And if he doesn't like the vibe that he's feeling from Dallas, he can certainly go to the Lakers, the Knicks, any number of teams that are going to have.
DA, does he really have a lot of options, to be honest with you? I know there are a lot of teams out there, but there are a lot of great point guards in the NBA. And if you look around the league, maybe he's not one of the top 10 when you name off the top 10 right now. Is he kind of running out of options because of the things he's had with Ray Allen and Doc Rivers and now down in Dallas? Does he really have that many options?
I think he does, Mike, just because, you know, again, those teams that I mentioned, like the Lakers and the Knicks, terrible teams that need everything, right? So, and need to make a splash in free agency, can be very aggressive next summer with the cap room that they've created for themselves in the summer. They can go after them and pay them more than, you know, most teams probably would be willing to, but those teams need to make a splash. So, you know, whether it's New York or L.A. or, you know, there's a couple other teams maybe that would have an opportunity. And certainly he could re-sign with Dallas. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. But I think free agency is certainly in play with him and something you have to keep in mind with him at this point of his career.
We'll see if he ends up where he ends up. I know Kobe Bryant is a huge fan of Rajon Rondo's. I know Kobe's in last year of his contract next season. We'll see how much pull he has actually trying to bring him to the L.A. Lakers. Meanwhile, let's talk about a couple of teams that are in it right now. The Cavs and Warriors, they play tonight. Been talking about this as a possible NBA Finals preview. The way they're playing right now, DA, and you've been around the league for a long time, is that what people are thinking right now, that these are the two teams to beat in their respective conferences?
Oh, Mike, I don't know about that right now. I mean, obviously, Golden State has played the best of any team in the league, I would say, right now. They would be a favorite in the West, but I don't think anybody would say that they definitely going to get out of the West. You know, we don't know what Bogut's health is going to be like in 6 weeks, and he's the key to me to that team. And there's certainly teams, you know, the West, it's a minefield.
Yeah.
And there's any number of teams that could get hot and get going, whether it's, you know, OKC, who I'm seeing tonight here in Phoenix with Turner. You know, they made some big moves at the trade deadline. Westbrook's playing out of his mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're hoping to get Durant back pretty soon. So, I mean, they're going to be a force. You know, I think if they make the playoffs, nobody with a brain is going to rule out San Antonio the way they know how to win in the playoffs. So, and in the East, Atlanta is certainly as good, I think most people would think, as Cleveland has played recently, but Atlanta's played that way longer this season. Chicago, certainly without Rose, doesn't look like they're going to be very formidable. But so I wouldn't rule it out, but I wouldn't say it's a definite either.
Yeah, you got an MVP vote, right? You get an MVP vote?
I do.
All right. Right now, I mean, everybody's talking about Steph Curry, LeBron James, of course, is out there, James Harden. You mentioned Russell Westbrook. If you had the vote right now, hopefully you will reveal it to us, who would you vote as your MVP?
I've had Harden up all year at the top spot. I've had Harden, Curry 1-2 pretty much most of the year because I just think Harden has done so much when you consider Dwight Howard really has not been there for most of the season, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And for Harden to lead them in almost every category and to play at the high level he's played in and night out, I get a lot of grief from Warriors fans about that. But, you know, Steph's got an all-star playing next to him and Klay Thompson, and James Harden does not, you know. So, and, you know, you can make a case for Draymond Green being an all-star as well. So that's why I think right now, to me, Harden would be the MVP. I'm certainly not. I'm not saying that it's a lock and that it couldn't change because Steph has played great too, and I could certainly vote for him. You mentioned LeBron; he's coming on. Since they made the trades and everything, and Westbrook has been sensational. So it's not a done deal yet that I would vote for Harden. But if you ask me who I pick right now, it will be Harden.
Yeah, you mentioned Westbrook because when you talked about James Harden, you talked about Dwight Howard being out, and now that Kevin Durant's out, Westbrook's had the best month of anybody. He's almost averaging a triple-double. He's been a force all year long since he's come back from his own injury. How much consideration should Russell Westbrook be getting seriously for this vote?
I think, you know, if let's put it this way, if he continues on this path, and, you know, for the next month or so, you know, going down the stretch of the regular season, I certainly think he will get strong consideration for it. The only thing that you know, kind of holds him back is that he had the injury that you mentioned, kept him out for a while. And it's hard to give it to somebody who hasn't played as much as other guys that have been in there every night during the season and played at a high level. That would be the only thing holding him back. But if he continues this stretch that he's been on this month, then, yeah, he's going to get some consideration.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. Speaking of what happens in the future, you talked about LeBron, a four-time MVP himself. You've seen a video of his son, 10-year-old son out there dominating basketball games among his peers right now. But what do you think of the college coaches contacting his son and LeBron basically saying, hey, guys, you know, back up?
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I hate it, and I wish they wouldn't do that because you know, the influence of AAU in basketball is, you know, I don't think all guys in AAU are bad. I think there's some guys that try real hard to do it the right way. But, you know, when you're talking to 10-year-olds about going to college, that to me is just beyond the pale. Leave him alone. He's a 10-year-old kid, man. I don't care whose kid he is. He's 10 years old. There's no reason that any college should be recruiting a 10-year-old player of any name, of any stripe, no matter whose son they are. You know, just let them play. Let them have some fun before you start making it all about, you know, making decisions about college. I mean, the kid barely can ride a bicycle.
Yeah,
you know, that's just, come on.
Yeah.
Y'all can do better than that.
It's
crazy. There's no reason to do it. I mean, if you sit back and think about it, there's no reason to do it. Leave him alone.
All right, that's David Aldridge of Turner Sports. He'll be part of the coverage on TNT tonight. Suns and the Rockets. Look forward to that tonight. DA is it's the Suns and the Thunder. Look forward to that tonight on TNT, David.
Big Mike, always good to talk to you, brother.
All right, DA.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.